So welcome, here we are outside the Australian mission here in Geneva. It's the day after the Universal Periodic Review process, and I think we're pretty happy with how it all went. So we've got our NGO delegation here for the last time. Phil and Liz head off tomorrow, and we'll give you a few insights about how we think it went yesterday. So Phil?
So, of course, Australia appeared before the Universal Periodic Review yesterday. There was a high-level delegation led by Senator Kate Lundy and the Ambassador to the UN in Geneva, Peter Woolcott. There was a very high level of engagement and interest. Over 50 countries took the floor to ask questions and make recommendations of Australia. Many countries complimented the Australian Government, the Australian Human Rights Commission and NGOs on the very collaborative and constructive way in which they engaged with the process and commented positively on the quality of reports submitted by all of those bodies, so that was very pleasing. The Australian Government made a number of pleasing voluntary commitments at the outset of the process, including, for example, the appointment of full-time race and disability discrimination commissioners, the tabling of the recommendations and views of UN human rights mechanisms in Parliament, and additional funding for the UN Office for the High Commissioner for Human Rights. So overall, very, very pleasing. Liz will talk about recommendations. The one area, I guess, of disappointment for the delegation was that whilst the Australian Government acknowledged human rights challenges and deficiencies in many areas, such as around Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's rights, there wasn't the same level of acknowledgement around the challenges confronted in the area of refugee and asylum seeker policy.
So just before I start on those recommendations though, we do want to note that we're very pleased to see that the Australian delegation, as Phil has said, it was led by Kate Lundy, and there was very significant female leadership and participation in that process. So we were very pleased to see that. In regards to the recommendations, there were almost 150 recommendations made, which were very significant, and across all the 17 issues that we've been lobbying here and back home, all 17 issues were addressed, so we're very pleased to see that.
Well, we're using the word positive a lot, and I think that I know that face.
I know that guy.
Was that Mick Gooder?
Mick Gooder, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Social Justice Commissioner.
Yes. So we've had also good reactions from the government, both to the event and also discussions we've had with them about follow-up procedures, so we're looking forward to that. One of the things particularly I have stressed in that is it's very hard for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and communities to participate in these sort of events, and so the government is very conscious of the fact that more effort has to be put into inclusion of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities in this process. So I think we're looking at some good things happening as a result of this UPR.
Wave to our New Zealand colleagues. So here we are, as I said, outside the Australian mission. We've just had a really productive meeting in terms of discussing what this follow-up and implementation will be. So our lobbying efforts, I guess, will now move from the missions and states and recommendations that we've been asking them to make back home into the Australian government, and hopefully we'll see some fruit from our work but over the next little while. So the next, I guess, final step in the formal process is Monday afternoon Geneva time. Australia comes back before the Human Rights Council and indicates which recommendations it wants to accept, which ones it wants to reject. We're not sure exactly what the Australian government response will be yet. Hopefully there'll be acceptance of at least some recommendations and announcements of what the follow-up process will be. So perhaps we'll give you another update to see what that actual formal response is, but sadly it'll be without Liz and Phil, so thanks very much, I guess, for both of your contributions and efforts. It's been a really interesting and enjoyable collaborative process.
It was still warm in Australia.
Yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure working with the Coalition and working with such outstanding human rights advocates. And I very much hope that after this process, Ben doesn't take a career in television. And we're going to... we're gonna stop now, not because there's a car going past, because it's bloody freezing. So we wanted to hopefully rag up a bit more and talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.